Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, President Rodrigo Duterte hints that a scaled-down quarantine, including Metro Manila, after May 15 is possible. The Philippine Army wants to get to the bottom of the killing of a former soldier due to quarantine violations, and we want to learn more about the military's role in the government's COVID-19 response. Philippine Army Chief Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay joins us live. And later, the volleyball community gives back. Volleyball stars Alyssa Valdez and Morado share their mission in helping frontliners. President Rodrigo Duterte says he will consider a modified quarantine even in COVID-19 high-risk areas. This would ease up travel and movement restrictions. On April 24, the president said the enhanced community quarantine will remain up to May 15 in Metro Manila, Central Luzon, and Calabarzon. These regions have the most COVID-positive patients in the country. Here's the president in his own words.
We might open partially, construction workers and things like that. You wait for lalabas na yung modified ang natin, quarantine. So we will allow sectors of society that are not, di talaga nagdidikit-dikitan. Ang problema nito kung kaya modified muna eh. Kasi kung magsiksikan kayo dyan sa LRT na naman, wala nang katapusan ang problema natin. It will never end. And it will bring us down and down.
The Philippine Army is asking the National Bureau of Investigation to allow its own probe on the shooting of former Army Corporal Winston Ragos. Police shot Ragos near a checkpoint in Quezon City on April 14 because of alleged quarantine violations. This despite witnesses' pleas to police not to engage since the victim was mentally ill. The suspect, Master Sergeant Daniel Florendo, is now facing homicide charges. Ragos was given military honors and laid to rest Sunday at the Libingan ng mga Bayani. The Ragos family is thankful for the military's help. Meantime, the Philippine Army intensifies measures against the spread of coronavirus. Aside from deploying its troops for COVID-19 response, the Army is also hiring more doctors to help in patient care facilities. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Philippine Army Chief Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay. Lieutenant General Gapay, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Pinky, and good morning to our televiewers.
General, let me start by this. I really wanted to ask you, tell us more about really the involvement of the Army in the fight against COVID-19. It's particularly, let me start with the ECQ and also the GCQ, sir.
Yes, right now the Army is actively involved in the implementation of ECQ, not only in NCR but nationwide. So here in NCR, we are tasked to man quarantine assistance stations or checkpoints at the northern periphery of NCR, particularly those coming from NDEX and entering Manila from the north, like Caloocan and Nagportas. So we are guarding those checkpoints there. Then recently, with the directive of the president to strictly implement ECQ in hotspots here in NCR, we have deployed additional troops conducting security patrols, visibility patrols, and even loudspeaker operations in areas. Particularly, the Army was given the sectors in areas in Makati, in Taguig, in some parts of So all in all here in NCR, Pinky, We have some 1,500 troops deployed right now in support to the PNP and the LGUs. And in other parts of the country, we have
General,
yes, we also have some 14,000 regular troops, augmented by 6,000 CAFDUs and some 3,000 reservists who are augmenting and are actively involved in the implementation of
okay.
ECQ and in our fight against this COVID-19 pandemic.
General, what happens when the military finds violators of the enhanced community quarantine or the general community quarantine? Are they allowed to effect arrests?
Actually, we do this jointly with the PNP. So the PNP are the ones conducting the arrest. We just support the PNP in this area. We just augment them.
What are your troops telling you, sir, about the challenge in, having to man checkpoints and all these other activities during the enhanced community quarantine?
Foremost challenge we were encountering is, of course, the risk of affecting our troops, because they're very much exposed, conducting checkpoints every day. And not only that, the Army is very much involved in operations. So we have troops also involved in that. And every day, Army troopers are delivering goods to depressed areas and where they are most needed. And of course, aside from that, we also offer libreng sakay. So daily, there are some involved in this and their personal involved in this. So far, we have served more than 33,000 frontliners and even those stranded persons who are in need of transport. So in all these tasks, our personnel are very much susceptible and are exposed to being infected by the virus. So that's the first challenge we're having. That's why what we do is we arm and equip our personnel with the necessary PPEs, of course, masks, of course, strict adherence to health protocols, and of course, boost their immune system by providing them vitamins and, of course, the usual exercise we do, and all other health precautions which we are undertaking here in the Army. And, of course, at the end of
General,
the day, they undergo decontamination and disinfection procedures before they retire in the evening.
okay. General, can you give us a number of members of the Philippine Army who are positive of COVID-19?
Oh yes, of course, we're not spread of this, but we kept it to a minimum. So right now, we have 2 active cases. That is from a high of 9 since we started this in March. So 7 have already recovered, but we still have 44 probable cases. Those are considered before as persons on PUIs and PUMs. So in the Army,
All right.
one of our tasks is to reserve our forces and as much as possible, shield them from being infected. So the various health measures we have undertaken are paying off because we have a low number of cases in the Army. So right now, there are only 2 active cases
Okay.
in the entire Philippine Army, nationwide.
All right. General Gapay, of course, there are a lot of activities the Army is involved in, such as delivery of tests, helping distribution of goods to far-flung areas. The military, also members of the Philippine Army, I believe, sir, were the ones who were in Aurora, who were helping in the distribution of aid for COVID-19. And that was the time that they were attacked by the NPA. The president visibly angry about that situation. And he mentioned about martial law. Is the military preparing for a possible declaration of martial law? As told by the president, he says, if lawlessness continues.
Well, the Philippine Army is always prepared for whatever task that will be given to us, be it martial law or not. But we have cases of CPP-NPA and Abasayap atrocities against our troops, particularly those performing COVID-19 related missions, like the ones in we had in Aurora, and we also those operating in Negros. They were waylaid and they were harassed and attacked by NPAs while assisting the PNP and LGUs in distribution of amelioration program. So. Because right now the Army is very much focused on our battle against COVID, and the enemies of the state, these threat groups find an opportunity and to attack Army troopers, because we're also vulnerable, because we're very much we are very visible, in the far-flung areas, assisting not only the PNP, the LGUs, but other government agencies in delivering the needed assistance to our people, particularly those in
All right.
those people in the marginalized areas and the people in need. But of course, this is part and parcel of our job. Yes.
General, I need to take a quick break. Still ahead, the Philippine Army wants the NBI to probe the killing of former soldier Winston Ragos and its plan to review its program for soldiers experiencing warfare trauma. Army Chief Gilbert Gapay will still be with us after the break. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Philippine Army Chief Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay. General, let me go to the issue on homicide charges already filed against Master Sergeant Florendo, the policeman who shot Corporal Winston Ragas. Yet, the Army had called for a separate investigation on this by the NBI. Sir, does this mean you're doubting, rather, let me repeat that you are doubting the credibility of the investigation conducted by the police, sir?
Well, of course, the investigation is now underway, and we are monitoring this closely. And the NBI has, expressed their support on this request of the Philippine Army. So what compelled us and what moved the Army to really seek the assistance of the NBI is, of course, the apparent judgment on the part of the investigators, and of course the conflicting accounts, the statements of the witnesses, of the law enforcers, and as well as the video footages. So you would see some conflicting accounts there. Of course, we saw the mishandling of evidences and preservation of the crime scene. So all of those, of course, would lead to some would taint and would discredit some investigations being conducted by, or the credibility, and it shows sort of partiality already, That's why what we're after here is an impartial investigation. That's why we sought the help of NBI. Ang sa amin lang naman is really for the truth to come out and justice be served.
General, that bag that's been coming out, especially on social media, questions on that bag that Ragos threw before he actually fell, that is obviously a vital piece of evidence. I wanted to ask you, sir, did the police have the right to get that bag and take it and put it inside the van? I asked that, sir, because, again, as I mentioned, that's a vital piece of evidence, and the NCRPO chief basically saying there's nothing wrong with this because he aired the sentiment also of the head of the QCPD investigation unit, I believe, who actually said that they needed to secure the evidence.
I'm sorry, Pinky, you're cutting out. I mean, can you please repeat your question?
General, let me repeat ha. Yung pong bag ni Ragos na kanya pong naitapon, kinuha po ng police eventually at inilagay po sa van. I guess the question is, tama ho ba? Did the police have the right to pick up that piece of evidence and put it in that van, sir?
Yes, of course, that is one of the objectives of the investigation. But offhand, you see, there's apparent lapses in the procedures. Because we've been working with the PNP for so long, and we've been securing crime scenes in the past. And, talagang preserve it, do not touch it. The SOCO will come in and do their part in this initial investigation of the crime scene. And we find that, some sort of procedural lapse on the part of the
Okay.
And of course, the handling of evidence, it should remain in the crime scene, but they took it away. And plus, of course, the issue on the pistol, because ito yung isang conflicting accounts. Let's say walang pistol, ang laman ng bag, because the bag was partially open. Ang nakita lang nila sabi is a bottled water and some personal belongings like ID in the bag. Some accounts say kami nakitang barel, and of course even the footages, you can see some conflicting accounts. So that's why all of these plus the pronouncement later on of those investigating the case that there is an apparent pre-judgment already that it was parang they were saying it was a judgment call, self-defense, and self-defense on the part of the responding police officer. And actually, those things are supposed, parang meron silang pre-judgment and conclusion already, even before the investigation starts. So we could already sense, anyone could sense partiality, and there is already bias in the investigation. To give credence and credibility to the ongoing investigation, we find it necessary for a third party to investigate, like the NBI. That's why moved the Army to really seek the assistance of the NBI on this investigation.
All right, Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay, we've run out of time, sir, but I'd like to thank you for giving us your time today. Please take care, sir.
Thank you.
And still ahead, volleyball stars joining efforts to help our frontliners, Alyssa, Valdez, and Gia Morado. Tell us more. After the break, this is The Source on CNN Philippines. We'll be right back. Two volleyball stars are leading separate initiatives to help our frontliners. Alyssa Valdez is one of the leaders of the group Volleyball Community Gives Back. The group is holding a fundraising drive called Raffles for Heroes, while jerseys, shoes, and other sentimental items from volleyball idols are given away as raffle prizes. Meantime, Gia Morado and her boyfriend Miguel de Guzman are auctioning off jerseys and accepting cash donations. It's for their fundraiser called Every Little Thing Counts. As of last week, they have already raised over 1 million pesos for the benefit of 14 different hospitals. Both Valdez and Morado plan to spend the money to purchase protective gear for our frontliners. Let's go straight to the sources of the story. We have volleyball stars Alyssa Valdez and Gia Morado. Alyssa and Gia, welcome to the show.
Hi, Miss Pinky. Good morning.
Good morning po.
Hi, good morning to you. Nice to see you. Let me start with Alyssa. Alyssa, tell us more about your drive. Is there phase one and another phase two as well?
So we have raffles for hero. We had different bundles and mga different players pledge different memorabilia of their own shoes, jerseys, and a lot more. So as of now, we're doing raffle draws already. We're on our second today. We're doing it today also. And for our second phase naman po, celebrities will be joining also our cause. Iba't iba rin po yung binigay nila, nakakatuwa kasi sobrang babait po rin talaga nila. But actually, we're also doing some donation drive for our referees naman din and for the mga ball retrievers na syempre isa rin na part sa ating volleyball community.
Right, because I also read about that there is a drive to actually help the daily wage workers connected to the volleyball community. So, that's something that hits close to home for you.
Yeah. Yes po. So as of now, it's we have 100K. It's all from donations. So we're really happy and really thankful for all the people na patuloy pa rin pong nagdo-donate sa amin.
Okay, so far, you're going to have the raffle Monday, and then there will be another raffle. Ganun ba yan, Alyssa?
Yes po. So we do it per batch po kasi medyo madami ring nag-pledge ng mga memorabilia nila. So for today, we have 4 bundles, and then until siguro mga second week of May, we're doing the solo duo bundles para po medyo nakikita rin ng mga tao kung ano yung nangyayari. But fortunately po kasi we want to syempre continue to deliver PPEs to all our frontliners. So kailangan pa po namin ng konting tulong mula sa ating mga kababayan and mga volleyball fans.
Okay, let me go to Gia right now. Gia, I read that you actually already raised 1 million pesos and that you've bought personal protective equipment and they're actually on transit now?
Yes po, Miss Pinky. We actually were able to ship out the supplies for the 14 hospitals last April 26. But now they're still in transit. Soon they'll be arriving. And eventually we'll be opening another phase naman. And hopefully we can help other people who've been hit hard by this pandemic and not just the frontliners.
So you guys don't stop, huh? You raise funds, part one, and then you feel like you need to do a part two as well.
Yes po, it's a good thing. We're blessed because we can use our platforms to help the public din naman. And since extended din po yung quarantine and the frontliners aren't stopping with their work, the virus, it's spreading. So we want to do our part also for the community this time.
Gia, I know that this is something, it's called Every Little Thing Counts, diba? That's your fundraiser. And you partnered with your partner, Miguel, on this. Tell us more about your auction and who are the athletes who auctioned off as well in this drive of yours?
Okay, because we thought of every little thing counts, because like us, when the quarantine started, we knew a lot of people wanted to help. We knew, but the problem was, it's either they don't know how to help, or they feel like what they can give is very little and will probably
Yeah.
not make a difference. But the problem is, the thing is, in this crisis, wala po talagang maliit na tulong. So a lot of people, when we launched, really reached out, tried to help in any way they can. So it's not just through cash donations. Players also were able to donate their jerseys. We got pledges from around 47 players. We were able to put up 60 jerseys for auction, and we
Wow.
raised over 360K to just from the auction alone. So it was a really big help that
Wow.
everyone was pitching in and trying to help in any way, because we have to come together as a community in this pandemic.
I really love how, that is true, because every little thing counts. Every donation, every intention, every drive, everything we think of to come together to help is, is very important. Of course, to fight this pandemic that we are all, well, against right now. So, let me go back to Alyssa. Alyssa, sino yung mga athletes na included dun sa raffle?
So we have different bundles po. So for blue bundles, all the middle spikers from Ateneo, like there's 5 of them from different batches also. We have also legends, we call it legends, na mga setters from way back, siguro mga 2000s, mga ganun po. And then we have a lot of jerseys talaga to be players really pledge po, and their mga shoes. We have also the national team players for the men's volleyball team na nag-pledge din po. And from LaSalle, I think this drive, this fundraising also make us realize na in this pandemic, we can really unite and be as one community to help everyone, every our frontliners or even our country.
That's right. So, Alyssa, let me continue on with you. How can anyone help in your drive?
They can still buy. We sell tickets, raffle tickets for 300 pesos. If they have 20, they buy 20 tickets, raffle tickets. They'll have, if they can win, they'll have a video greeting from one of their favorite players. So it's a consolation prize for them. And they can visit our page, Volleyball Community Gives Back. So all the details are there, all the bank accounts na pwede nila pong puntahan ay naroon din po. Maraming salamat po, Miss Pinky, for this opportunity also.
Oh my gosh, Alyssa, thank you so much. And, we want to thank people like you who continue to help with hundreds of other people who, do their share in helping the Filipino people. So, Gia, what about you? You're done with part 1, 1 million in transit. How can people help doon sa, part 2 of your fundraiser?
We haven't launched our second phase. It's still up for discussion within our team, but once we're able to launch the second phase and we know our beneficiaries, hopefully people can tune in our Facebook page. It's called Every Little Thing Counts, because
Okay.
anyone who's willing to help in any amount, in any kind, it will really help our community in this pandemic.
All right. But do you have a particular sector in mind, Gia, to help for the next phase?
We want to focus more on the marginalized community this time, because they're part of the people who need the most support. So it's not just our frontliners who are greatly affected here. There are people who need, because of the quarantine, super restricted nga po yung movement, and a lot of people are unable to go out. So to be able to give relief goods is one of our goals also for the people who need it.
You use your talent in many ways, and so much help you're both doing now to help not just our frontliners, but as Gia said, eventually those also who are marginalized. Alyssa and Gia, thank you for your kind hearts, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, po.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Miss
Miss Pinky.
Pinky.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.